but I ended up settling on Picmaker because it was easy to use, it was easy to customize, it was easy to adjust while giving me enough features, meaning I could, in theory, get more with deep diving into Photoshop for every single thumbnail, but I also don't want to spend, 30 minutes to 60 minutes for a thumbnail. And so Picmaker for me was a good blend of giving me the features that I wanted without being too much time spent on doing it. So I basically have a few things going on. I have a day job where I work as a CEO of a website e-commerce development agency. I have BoardGameCo, the YouTube channel, and then I have a wife and 4 kids. And so the day generally starts with a few kids jumping in my bed, getting out of bed, doing the whole, slowly waking up. From there, I just have a coffee, as I'm having right now, and then proceed to go about my day. The day is anything from heading off to work and, doing all the stuff that comes along with running an e-commerce agency and, dealing with clients internally, dealing with technology, softwares, changes to our processes, our operations, all of that stuff. From there, I'll usually head home, see my kids for a few minutes, and then start with the process of filming a video, because I do a daily video every single day. And so I try to make sure that I'm covering that daily video. And so generally every day I try to get at least one video in or filmed or whatever, edited, all that stuff. From there, I'll watch a TV show with my wife, rinse and repeat. And then, occasionally the weekends are a lot more fun, get a lot more stuff done there, playing board games, watching TV, spending time with the kids. Used to involve going out and doing stuff with the kids, but that's mostly gone away with COVID. So that's going to be a typical day and week for me. I'm all about the board games behind me. You mentioned before we started talking about the top 10 TV shows. That would be actually an exception video for me. 99% of my videos are all about board games. I play a lot of board games, and I'm very involved in the hobby. And so, yeah, I'm very involved in board games in the hobby, and I put out videos covering anything about the hobby in general, games I like, reviews of board games, talking about Kickstarter board games, which is a big section of the hobby, talking about different things in this space, different opinions or how different stuff works or whatnot. But there's basically just board games. It's all board games for me. Huge. I mean, one of the first things I looked into when I first started looking into doing YouTube channel was I read a lot of guides about how YouTube works and different aspects from there. And thumbnails are a hugely undervalued part of of being on YouTube. At the end of the day, a decent amount of your growth is going to come from YouTube showing your videos to people, and people aren't clicking on things that don't look like a video they should click on. And so a thumbnail and having some sort of clear representation of what your video is, or some form of pulling someone in that isn't just a single still from your video, is a huge part of being able to grow on YouTube. And so when I first started doing these videos, I looked around in terms of how to create a good thumbnail and tried a few different softwares, different options. And I can't remember exactly what I tried or what ended up this, that, or the other, but I ended up settling on Picmaker because it was easy to use, it was easy to customize, it was easy to adjust while giving me enough features, meaning I could, in theory, get more with deep diving into Photoshop for every single thumbnail, but I also don't want to spend, 30 minutes to 60 minutes for a thumbnail. And so Picmaker for me was a good blend of giving me the features that I wanted without being too much time spent on doing it. So I don't remember the other options I looked at. I know I remember I looked at them. I don't remember their names. One of them was significantly too complicated to use. I remember that. The one I didn't even try offhand was using Photoshop, because I just wasn't interested in spending that time beforehand. I think there were the options I had were obviously Photoshop, which I chose not to use to begin with, and then there are 2 other online versions of some sort of image generators that I don't remember their names, but I remember that they weren't as user friendly or as easy to jump in and get what I need going. I tried Picmaker. I did all of these in the same day, and I just remember that Picmaker was the third one I tried, and it's the first one I stuck with because it was easier to use and get the results I wanted fairly quickly without a lot of complexity or work. I have to imagine it has. I have no real data around where it has helped in what sense, but for me, like I know I get a lot of feedback from people on my thumbnails and that they're good and they're clean, they pull you out, they both a reason to click on as well as being a clear brand identity as, this is my video, this is one of mine. And so I can't speak for the what growth has contributed to what, but I can tell you I started the YouTube channel just over a year ago. December 8th, 2019 was my first video, and in that time I've grown from 0 to 19,000 subs already, and I hopefully will keep growing. I'm sure there's a lot of things go into that, but one of the things that I'm telling people, various tips and tricks or things that have helped me along the way, clear thumbnails are always a part of that conversation. Okay, so what are my favorite features? Give me a second here. So I hop in. I use the cutting, obviously not the, obviously I use the cropping tool whenever it's relevant. I generally will walk in, I'll upload image and use that. I've occasionally used the background removal on it, but I don't use that as often because I use something that is a little bit more robust generally beforehand before importing. Um, from there, I mean, the ability to quickly enlarge, rotate, flip, all that on a photo is very quick and helpful. The ability to easily position, to easily adjust anything I want, pulling in various images or pick art or different shapes or whatnot that I can utilize from the various library that exists on Picmaker. The ability to download an image with or without the background for a PNG or for a non-PNG, the ability to jump in and create something. And I primarily use it for thumbnails, so this isn't as useful, but the ability to create preset default sizes for different things that are very common. So I have occasionally used it in the past for, let's say, an Instagram post, and you can easily just say, oh, I want something Instagram sized. I want something that is, YouTube thumbnail sized, and they have those options, preset defaults. Um, I think those would be the ones I use primarily offhand. Yeah, for sure. I already do. At one point, I briefly put out a video. It didn't go on the main channel, but I put out a behind-the-scenes video of how I go through my day, and I recommended Picmaker. And meaning, I went from start to finish of my creation process, and showed the various tools I use and the different things. And I definitely recommended Picmaker. And I was like, oh, you can use Picmaker. Here's what I do. Here's how I go through the thumbnail process. And yeah. You guys put out a great tool. I was very scared and nervous with the whole Flash 2020 going away and was wondering what your plans were. I was all prepped to have to find something else, and I guess that's the biggest compliment I can give to Picmaker is I was consistently worried that I was going to lose it and have to find something else.